Hello, I'm Lisa Welsh, and I was the communications manager for Was 2021. And today I am delighted to be interviewing Tim Hammond, who has woken up and is ready for this conversation at 6:30 a.m. Thank you so much for giving up your time this morning, Tim. How are you?
It's my pleasure, Lisa. I'm well, thank you.
So great to be connected with you today. Please, could you share a little bit more about you for anybody who's not currently familiar with your work?
Sure. Um, I am co-founder of the National Organization of Restoring Men back in 1989 in San Francisco. Um, NORM, as it's called, is a support group for those who are subjected to penile circumcision. Usually, in the US context, usually happens at birth. And its purpose was to give moral and technical support to those who are circumcised to regain their genital integrity and their bodily integrity through non-surgical foreskin restoration.
Wow.
And through that process, I've listened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who have their own stories to share about how this non-consensual surgery has affected them either on the physical, sexual, emotional, self-esteem side of their lives. After that, I got really frustrated through my own foreskin restoration methods to take action to help future generations of children avoid this through nonviolent street actions, education, public awareness. Since that time, however, I've ventured more into the independent research side to try to give a voice to these people and to conduct surveys asking how this has affected people, how it has affected their relationships, and what their motivations have been for foreskin restoration, as well as how they've been treated or not by members of the medical and mental health communities.
It's important work that you're doing. And I would love to know a little bit more about the presentation that you gave at WAS and what you shared with the attendees there.
We just on September 30th closed the survey after about 130 days of being online and available in English, French, German, and Spanish. And we had over 2,000, actually 2,121 to be exact, responses, of which 1,790 were completed surveys and then 331 partial surveys. And what we're beginning to do as a team now, we have a team of professionals, including Dr. Mohammed Fahmy in Cairo, Egypt, Lauren Sardi and Bill Jellison from Quinnipiac University, Ryan McAllister from Georgetown University, and Ben Snyder, who's a certified sex therapist in Minnesota. We're beginning to look at the findings and to analyze this and to write up an article for journal submission.
Wow.
And we asked a whole range of questions, the age at which they were circumcised, whether it was done in a medical setting or a religious/tribal setting, when they first became aware of being harmed by circumcision, or that there was something wrong with their bodies or their feelings about their bodies. And we discovered that it happens for about 25% of those who responded. It happens at a very young age, under the age of 13, that they are aware that there is something not quite right with their penis.
Wow, okay.
So we did that. we asked how long they devoted to restoration. I think the longest person has committed 11 years to the restoration effort, how much money they've spent, whether they bothered to consult a professional for assistance, and if they did, how they were treated by those professionals. We also got into demographic data too, and I had conducted two previous surveys back in 1999 and then in 2017, both of which were published in journals. And the one difference about this survey that was different from the previous two demographically was that I included the option under sexual orientation and gender identity to check a box for transgender, because that tracks my own personal growth and awareness on this subject. And surprisingly, on this survey, 1.5% of the respondents identified it as transgender.
Okay.
And it makes sense to widen the category of people who are affected by this, because after all, if you're born with a penis, you're assigned male, and therefore you're at risk of being circumcised in many cultures. But later, as you identify as something other than male, female, you realize that you've lost up to 15 square inches of highly erogenous tissue to be able to be used in gender affirming care that could create a neovagina. So that to me was a very surprising and pleasantly so to get that participation from transgender people.
Yeah, another angle to it. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really touching to hear you talk about this. It's something that hasn't been on my radar too much. And I feel like it should have been, but this is great that you're raising awareness of this.
Yeah, we learn, we grow when we, like they say, when you know better, you do better. And my hope is that it will, first of all, give a voice to the people who are affected. These are people who I have termed circumcision sufferers. And this is a subset of the population of circumcised males in the world. And within that subset is another subset, those who are so distressed by their circumcision that they take the next step to try to regain their bodily integrity through non-surgical foreskin restoration methods. And a couple of years ago, Jennifer Bossio, a Canadian researcher, looked into this subject, and she published an article that she said basically that it was not circumcision itself, but your attitude about circumcision that determined whether you were satisfied or not with this having been done to you. And she very clearly stated that there is a distinct subpopulation of people who are circumcised that are highly distressed about this, and this has not been given enough attention in the medical or psychological fields. And it's another piece of the puzzle to be adding into the whole circumcision debate, which has been going on for decades, if not centuries.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it often happens so young, as you mentioned, consent is a massive part of the conversation around sexual justice, sexual health, sexual rights. And this is clearly impossible at birth if it's happening.
Exactly.
Wow, I feel like I could talk to you all day about this. It's very interesting.
It's a very broad and deep subject. I have been so educated on this issue. I've spent more than 30 years on it, and I have learned not just about sexuality, but psychology, religion, anthropology, sociology, medical anatomy, all of this. And this is what makes it such an interesting topic for me.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing this at the Congress and for talking with me about it today. Who do you think would most benefit from taking the time to watch your presentation?
I think anyone who is concerned about the issue of consent,
Mm-hmm.
and in particular, bodily integrity and genital autonomy. In this day and age, we're in the 21st century, and I think children's rights is becoming a larger issue for people to deal with, and especially the issue of how we treat the genital area of our bodies when we're children, how we as societies do that. And I think people in the mental health community, people in the field of sexology, this is an underexplored issue. Most of the medical literature out there tends to dismiss the topic of circumcision, and they approach this strictly from an empirical scientific point of view, and they come up with the conclusion that, oh, circumcision doesn't affect anyone's sexuality or pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you understand that most circumcisions, penile circumcisions, remove up to 1/2 of the skin system of the penis, and the most erogenous nerve-laden part of the penis, it's inconceivable to me that you could come up with that conclusion. But those are the shortcomings of empirical science. I think the next step in this process is to learn more about the subjective experience, which is hard to measure, but it's something I think we need to listen to more, is what are the experiences of this marginalized group of people?
Yeah, absolutely. Give them a voice, because like you say, it just, the thought of realizing that somebody has done something to this intimate part of your body before you even had any consciousness, the thought, that the realization that that's happened, that must be quite something. And as a mother of teenage sons, it just really hits home to me when you said that. It really is quite, wow, give me goosebumps.
Well,
Thank you for sharing.
I think you're very welcome. I just want to make another point too, that this is another part of the underexplored area. Genital cutting at such a young age is a extremely traumatic experience, even when they try to use topical anesthesia. And we do not yet know enough about the long-term impact on people's lives of such deep trauma at such an early age in the preverbal stage, and how that affects people's sense of safety, sense of self, sense of safety in the world. So my hope is that this Foreskin Restorer survey will encourage people who are research oriented to begin to really delve deeper into this. So this is just the beginning, my hope.
I think you're right. It is the beginning of a much bigger conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us today, Tim. And I just want to remind everybody who registered for the Congress that you have until the end of 2021 to go and view that. So if Tim has piqued your interest, and I'm sure he has, this is fascinating, then please go and watch his presentation. If you have the Hoover app, you can contact him directly with questions. And if you haven't signed up already for the Congress, it is not too late. Everything is available on demand, and I will share the link below. Thank you again for your time today, Tim.
You're very welcome, Lisa. And I would like to make one shameless plug for anyone who wants to follow the publication of this and the previous 2 surveys that I've had published, can go to circumcisionharm.org. And there they will be able to see video testimonies of people who have been harmed by this practice, as well as research and news and related information, circumcisionharm.org.
Fantastic. I'll be sure to tag that when I actually post this so that people can find it easily. Thank you very much, Tim, and I hope to stay in touch with you.
You're very welcome, Lisa. Thank you.